Hi, you're watching A Walk Down the Aisle. My name is Mami Dufie. Ever wondered what the law says about marriage? Today I have here with me lawyer Ebenezer Ahiato, and we are discussing legal aspects of marriage. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Welcome to A Walk Down the Aisle.
Thank you.
We are discussing legal aspects of marriage. It is only at weddings that we sign. So can you consider engagement as legal?
Yes, you have to look at the position of our law. What we call engagement within our law is called customary marriage.
Okay.
So it is not the engagement as we have in other jurisdictions. For instance, in the UK, engagement in the UK is not marriage, but our engagement is marriage because that is the customary marriage. So yes, engagement in our part of the world, in Ghana,
It's legal.
is legal.
Even though we don't sign.
Yes, you don't need to sign. You see, we have different forms of marriages. Customary marriage is one that is recognized by our law.
Okay.
So yes, engagement per the laws of Ghana, because the laws of Ghana recognize customary law. So engagement is customary marriage, and therefore it is marriage.
It is marriage.
Yes.
Okay. So can one be sued for disappointing marriage, promised marriage?
Yes, we have something in the law called promise, the breach of promise to marry.
Okay.
Yes, you can sue. But you see, it's difficult to prove it in court.
Why is that?
But if you are successful, yes, you'll be entitled to your reliefs. But as I said, it's very difficult to prove it in court because of the nature of it. For instance, I was personally involved in a case where somebody sued for breach of promise to marry.
Okay.
And if you look at the pleadings, that is what was said, clearly this is a situation where the husband to be promised the lady, and based on the promise, the lady went ahead and did so many things. She actually bought everything for the marriage.
Based on the promise.
Yes. Now there was also a knocking. There was a date.
Okay. When you said there was a date was fixed?
Yes.
Okay.
So you draw the conclusion that it wasn't just a mere promise. It goes beyond the promise.
Okay.
That is why I was saying that you really need to demonstrate to the court that indeed there was a breach.
Okay.
Yes.
So how do you demonstrate? Do you need all that? How do you tell them that, okay, you actually bought this?
Yes.
Or you did that?
Thank you. You have to lead evidence before the court that, first of all, there was a promise. Now, pursuant to the promise.
How do you tell them there was a promise? You show your ring?
Not necessarily a ring. It depends on the form of promise that the person made. It could be you met somewhere, you saw the person, you've been going out for some time, and the person promised you that, look, I'll marry you. Now, based on the promise, you decided to take certain steps. For instance, as I said earlier, you send this person to the family. There was knocking. So the entire family is aware of this person.
Okay.
Now, you also decided to plan for the marriage. You began buying, items that will be used for the marriage. At times, based on the promise, you took certain steps. For instance, you decided to relocate, maybe from Kumasi to Accra, because of the promise. Maybe you were a teacher, and based on the promise, you decided to quit the teaching to do something else. So something has really occurred.
Okay.
So it is not just the promise; it goes beyond the promise.
Ring.
And with that, the court will believe in whatever you want the court to know.
So what if he denies that he promised you marriage?
So what happens is that if you go to court, you are either the petitioner, that is when we are talking of issues of marriages, you are the petitioner, or when we deal with the other cases, you are the plaintiff. So the onus is on you, the plaintiff,
Okay.
to demonstrate to the court so that the court will grant you your reliefs. So the onus is on you. The person will deny, but you have to lead evidence by way of documentary. It could be oral. You have witnesses who will also come to court and to corroborate your story. So that is how it is. It's, as I said, it's not easy to succeed in this particular course of action.
But it is possible.
It is possible because we have cases
Okay.
that people were able to succeed. As I said, it's difficult. So you have to make sure, and the advice is that you make sure you don't become a victim. Yes, because some of especially some of the men, you know, they are fond of doing this.
Promising and
Yes,
failing people.
yes, they promise left, right, center. You know, they want to promise this person.
That's all they know
the
how
other
to do,
person.
just be
Yes,
promising
yes. So
people.
it's always important for the lady to be on the guard,
Okay.
so that you don't become a victim.
All right.
Yes.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we will talk about who and who can't get married and how to protect your assets before marriage. Stay tuned.
Said my wish was to find you, 'cause I heard the love you had can make me brand new. And I searched all around for the kind of love that only you can die for. Ah, dear baby, deep and nyumba, magic on the theater, soon get fanja.
Welcome back. So now you know that promising and failing a woman can end you somewhere. Sir, please tell us, according to the law, who and who can't get married?
You have to be at the age of majority. You have to be 18
Okay.
to get married. If you are a minor, you can't marry. And also, you have to be of sound mind. And yes, you be of sound mind. Well, we have situations where somebody, you know, after the medicals, the reports come, and one of the parties is having HIV/AIDS. But you have a situation where the other party will say, look, that notwithstanding, I'll still go ahead and marry the person.
Really?
Yes, yes. And other health, you know, related issues. So it is about the individuals. Again, we have issues of the blood groupings, you know, AS, yes. People still go ahead. Some of them, you know, they have their own faith, and they believe that their faith is enough for some of these health issues to be corrected. So for the health issues, it's about the individuals. But when you are talking of the law, we want to make sure you have the capacity to marry.
Okay.
Yes.
So the health issues has got nothing to do with?
No.
Okay.
It's purely about the individuals. But of course, somebody who is a, you know, a lunatic on unsound, you know, otherwise it's purely an issue between the parties. And if you want to go ahead, nobody will restrain you from doing so.
Okay.
Yes.
So I understand some brides want to keep their father's name, their maiden name. They don't want to change to their husband's name after marriage. Is it really necessary?
Yes.
Is it compulsory?
It is not. It is not compulsory. You can decide to keep your name. But normally, those who go through the ordinance marriage will want to change their
Surname.
the surname to that of the husband's name. You see, it's important to appreciate the fact that most of our laws were, you know, we are what we call the common law jurisdiction. So most of our laws are English-based laws. So we have the common law. And if you even look at our ordinance marriage, the fact that the ordinance marriage is potentially monogamous, these are based on common law principles. Yes, they are based on common law principles. And that is how it was done.
Okay.
Yes, you marry, you drop your surname, and you pick that of
Yes.
your husband. But as I said,
So it's not compulsory.
no.
So your
you
husband
are
can't
not-
sue you if you don't want to take it.
No, you know, it's a sign of, do we use the word respect?
Okay.
Total submission, not submission as in becoming subservient to the man, no. But it's just a sign of the union that the two have now become one. Yes. So that is how it is. Let me even say that some years ago, even in England, if you were a wife, you couldn't sue in your own name. You have to do everything through your husband.
Okay.
Yes, but things have changed. And now societies that used to be patriarchal, it's all about males. Things are changing. So that is
Okay.
it. That is why even after the demise of the husband, some of the women will
Wives.
still keep the name.
The name.
It's up to you. And we know some prominent Ghanaians whose wives still bear their own surnames.
Okay. So,
So it is not.
all
you
right.
cannot,
So
yes.
assets. Okay.
Yes.
How would someone protect their assets before marriage?
This area of the law will come under agreements dealing with prenuptial
Prenuptial,
agreements,
okay.
and unfortunately, it's not part of our law.
Okay.
Yes, so that if the agreement is pursuant to the marriage, okay, so let's sign a contract. After the marriage, we'll do this, we'll do that. Agreement will not be enforced per our law. Otherwise, if it's your own agreement, that has nothing to do with the marriage, you can go ahead and enforce it.
Okay.
But if you sign a contract because you are going to enter into marriage, as it happens elsewhere, because when you go to England, it is there, and in the States too, you know, they recognize such contracts, such agreements.
But not here.
No, it is not. It is not enforceable.
So there's nothing related to that happens here in Ghana?
No, as I said, if you want to do that, then it is not because of the marriage that you intend contracting.
Okay.
But if you go to court and your course of action is that you had an agreement with Mr. A, and you know there has been a breach, I'm sorry, the court cannot enforce such a contract for you because issues of prenuptial are not recognized.
Yeah. After the break, we will talk about divorce. Stay tuned.
I hope you have had a lovely day so far. Today we'll be talking about Babidua Kente on the Kente culture segment of the show A Walk Down the Aisle. Babidua Kente symbolizes protection. Babidua is the name of a certain tree whose stem was used in making fences around mud houses in the olden days. Babidua is simple. It is a combination of single weave horizontal stripes. For the bride that doesn't want to look too busy but still remain elegant, Babidua is a cool choice. With a minimum of 2 colors, you can make a statement with this kente. For designers, it is easier to craft a great style of dress with Babidua. In other words, it affords a lot of room for creativity. In addition, since Babidua is an old kente pattern, it's really elegant when worn in traditional way. So dear bride, the ball is in your court. Go get it and cheers to your big day. Remember, this segment was brought to you by Kente Queen. See you next time.
Welcome back. We are discussing legal aspects of marriage with lawyer Ebenezer Ahieto. Lawyer,
Hello.
Please, we hear that the veil shouldn't be on your face before 6 p.m. How is it related to the laws of Ghana?
Yes, it does. When you apply to be married, you know, we have a procedure. You have to go through the Registrar General, the Registrar General's department. We have the Registrar of Marriages there, or the district assemblies. Yes, you are given a certain period that you need to marry. Now, within that, you are also given the hours within which you should marry. You are not supposed to go beyond 6 p.m.
6 p.m., okay.
So it is part of the law. When you want to marry under the ordinance, you need to adhere to the law. Yes. So that when you are even given the license to marry, you know, when you advertise, you know you have to go to the Registrar General Department to advertise 21 days. When you are even given the license, you are supposed to do it within 3 months. So we have the procedure. And it's important, if you don't want your marriage to be declared void or invalid, then you have to make sure you adhere. Yes.
Okay.
And it's the same thing has to do with persons who conduct marriages, those who are involved in the celebration. The person should be somebody who has a license. And even the place also has to be licensed, unless you are given a special dispensation by the Registrar of Marriages.
Okay.
Yes. So that is how. So it's actually part of our law.
Okay.
Yes.
So how is consummation legally defined regarding marriage?
You have to, when you marry, it has to be consummated. And that is by way of the parties not necessarily living together, but they have to have an affair to consummate the marriage. Okay. Yes. So you don't need, you know, at times people confuse it, oh, they are not living together. It's not about not living together. You have to make sure there is an affair, yes, for it to be consummated. Because some people do live together, but they don't consummate the marriage. Okay. Yes. One partner will sleep here, and the other maybe in the bedroom, and one will also be in the sitting room. Yes, so it has to be consummated. Yes.
Okay. So a friend was telling me the other time that he's married. There was a wedding ceremony, but they didn't sign. They wanted to sign later. How does that happen? How do you decide to sign later?
You know, as I said, when you go for the license, you are given up to a certain period to marry, 3 months to marry. And if you don't do it within that period, you cannot, unless you go for another one. So that on that day, even on the wedding day, it's supposed to be signed on the wedding day.
Yeah.
But you see, so far as it is within that period, and so far as the officiating minister will always be there, the one who has the power to celebrate it, to perform that ceremony between the two, so far as that person is there, and the period, and they are still within the period, they can always sign.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But it has to be within the period.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So if I'm married to a man who is married to somebody else and I don't know about it, what do I do?
Yes. I just did a case, and just in October, I think mid October, we had judgment in our favor. It is similar to the question you asked me. This lady, unfortunately, you know, got married to this gentleman who was married under the ordinance, but they were separated. Now, in the course of the case, you know, he was trying to say that he actually made it known to all the interested parties. And I'm talking of the church, because it was a church wedding. Family. The church, yes, even at the Registrar of Marriages. And that was the impression he was creating. But it was so clear that if you mention it to them, there was no, if he had actually mentioned it to them, there was no way they would have published, advertised the marriage, and to go ahead and to marry. So that what happens is that if you marry, if you already marry, you cannot marry again. And again, it depends on the type of marriage we are talking about.
Okay.
If it's customary marriages are potentially polygamous. So if somebody marries you, earlier on you mentioned engagement. Yes, our engagement is customary marriage. So if somebody engages you, you are living with the person, and there's no ordinance marriage. The person can go ahead and marry as many
as he wants.
Yes. But you see, the person cannot go and contract an ordinance marriage.
Okay.
And in the same way, when you are married under the ordinance, you cannot go ahead and contract another marriage, customary marriage or ordinance again. People have been doing that. But as I said, in cases like that, in the case I referred to, where the gentleman was already married under the ordinance, and he went ahead to marry this lady again. The marriage was declared null and void.
So let's talk about divorce. So what qualifies one to get a divorce, and how do they share their properties after a divorce?
Our law makes room for a divorce. If you look at the law that we have the Matrimonial Causes Act. Of course, we have our own procedure, CI 47. So what happens is that we have before you go for a divorce, certain things should trigger. You don't just go to court for a divorce, that your marriage should be dissolved. No.
Just like that?
No, there should be a reason. In fact, if you look at our law, we have only one ground for divorce. And it is that the marriage has broken down beyond reconciliation.
That is when divorce comes in.
Yes, only one ground. Now, in so doing, the law again says that you have to prove that by adducing certain pieces of evidence. So why are you saying that the marriage has broken down beyond reconciliation? Maybe there's an adultery, unreasonable behavior, desertion,
abuse.
Yes. So, but the most important thing is that we go for divorce because of the fact that the marriage has broken down beyond reconciliation. But you have to prove it by leading evidence to show that, as I've just said it, that maybe there's an adultery on the part of this person, one of the spouses, or he has behaved unreasonably, and therefore it's very difficult for you to live with him. Yes.
Now the properties.
Yes. So what happens is that anytime there is divorce, we have ancillary reliefs. And this has to do with issues of custody, properties, especially properties, because that is where you have all the issues. Now, when it comes to properties, the law used to be that the person who is claiming a portion of the property, most of the times it is the females. The person has to prove that she actually contributed something to the putting up of the property. That used to be the position of the law some time ago. And it was so difficult because you have cases in court where the man will say, if you are saying that you were also involved in this, show your receipt. What did you buy? Show your receipt. And this is a lady who is so vulnerable. Say, oh, but I was cooking for the workers. I was sent. They sent me to buy. And it is true. But it's so difficult to prove it. Fortunately, as at now,
But do you recognize that as contributions? Cooking?
yes, yes.
Okay.
The court will take that into consideration. They will factor in that. But as I said, the law has now changed. Fortunately, there was a case in the Supreme Court. Was it last year? The law has changed. Now you don't need to prove anything. In fact, even before the law changed finally, there was some variation. You know, you don't need to prove contribution per se. But as I said, the law has changed. There was this case involving Atamosis. Those who are football fans, I think they've heard of Atamosis before. It went up to the Supreme Court. And what we now have is that the person who is claiming a portion of the property only need to prove that that property was gotten during the pendency of the marriage. And that is enough. You only need to prove that, look, at the time this property was acquired,
I was with him.
yes, I was married to him. That's enough.
Okay.
Not necessarily a 50%, 50%, but that would depend on the evidence you adduce.
Yeah, okay.
But you don't need to prove anything. You now have a share in the property. And that is our 1992 Constitution, Article 22, makes provision for that.
Okay.
Anytime marriages are dissolved, provision is always made for the women. You know, we want to make sure that they are fully taken care of.
Okay.
So that is the current position of the law.
Okay.
Yes.
So what if there are kids involved?
Yes.
Does the woman receive larger share than the man of properties?
It depends because, as I said, the ancillary reliefs, we have matters that deal with maintenance. So you are not getting it because of the children, but there's an aspect of maintenance where you are required to pay some particular amount at the end of the month. In fact, some of the the parties are so stubborn that the money is at times deducted from the source because they will not pay, and they will give excuses upon excuses. So you have to take the money from source. So yes, provision is also made for the kids.
For the kids.
Yes, for the kids.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. This has been a learning experience. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure my viewers have too. We have something for you from Kente Queen, and this is to say thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Special thanks to my team, Anchor Media, Blaze Pictures, Soul Impact, Prime Shades, Kente Queen, and to my glam team, Tres on Hair SL for my beautiful hair, San Micah for my lovely outfit, Makeup by Ash for my makeover. See you same time next week. This is A Walk Down the Aisle, and my name is Mami Dufie.
Makoma bo me bang 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 me freo anase me nya uma unko na mi nkosun baby enka Mr. Playboy dear kebani send me who Obama makoma bo me bang 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 but this feeling is so different. What reason will I give my heart if I should let you go, baby? 'Cause I wanna know you.